G'day guys, so here's the video of unveiling the raked wall. We've put the time lapse of us building this wall up. You've probably seen it. So the top of it is sloped, and there's also a doorway, a double doorway in this wall, which means it's got an infill above it. Obviously that doesn't always mean it's got an infill, but there's very few that we've done that haven't had an infill. We do an infill above the door in Rammed Earth. So the start of the day here, just moving everything out of the way, moving cars, scraping up rubble on the floor, trying to make it safe. The guys are going to be lifting those forms, which are quite heavy, probably 30, 35 kilos, maybe 40 kilos each. And because it's high, you just want to make it as safe as possible. Making it safe is the first priority because we don't want injuries, and so that's the first thing we do now before the machine starts. We ask Jesus to protect us. We ask him to be on the worksite and inspire us or give us indication if there is danger. He has warned us specifically and saved some tragedies from happening. So behind the wall, as we start, it looks like nothing's happening, but he's actually undoing the nuts off the pins. You can see the pins he's standing on there, and this takes quite a while. So because there's quite a few of them. There's 8 pins in every form. So we undo all the nuts apart from the 2 top ones on the outside of each form. So the outer up 2 we leave on. The young guys there they're tapping the pegs out. You'll see they've got little hammers, so they're tapping them out. And so they tap all the pegs out of the forms apart from the middle peg on each form. Now that's just a double safety feature, but we leave that one in, and that one will be the very last one. So even after someone's holding the forms ready to take them down, that peg is the last thing to come out. And so it's just over and over and over doing the same thing. They just use a hammer to loosen the nut at the back. So that comes out quite easy. He's the guy in the yellow at the top, that's Elijah. He's tapping out the pegs, except for the middle one. Now this has got an end piece on this wall. You can see it sticking up on the left. That's tech screwed in. That's a metal piece. We'll show you that in another video. If you're a paid subscriber, you're going to get the designs of all our forms and what to ask for and that sort of thing, and the exact shape and size. So you can see there, they're about to pull that top form out. It's just taking that last peg off, and the tech screws at the end, and someone's holding it the whole time. So again, they'll leave the peg to them in the middle till last, and then it's being held as it comes down, and the process repeats over and over and over. So whoever's doing the tech screws on that end piece, they'll make sure they leave 2 at the top at least, and they'll only undo it when there's someone ready to actually hold it. So on the left there, going orange, it's Jediah. He's using a rattle gun to pull those pins out. And you can use a socket, you can use whatever you like. We've just found that the cordless rattle gun is the way to go when there's a lot of pins, and especially if the wall's thick. We do some retaining walls up to 500 thick, and when you're using a socket on there, it really does wear your arms out quite quickly. And again, so now they're about to take these top 2 on the right hand side, the left video, but the right hand side section. He's taking all the pegs out apart from those middle ones, and there's someone, so Elijah's on the wall in yellow there. He's holding those forms just as a precaution, and the middle peg is the last one to come out each time. So we'll just see if we can see what's happening there. Okay, so he's taking the pins out of the top outer one, which means they're ready to take it out. And once this happens, he's taken the back one off already. Okay, so now that last peg comes off from the front. There he goes, tap, 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 and they're holding. Now that form's loose, so no one should go underneath that now. There you go, and he's helping lift it down. Now, if you can see there, it's a bit hard to see in this video because of the tree in the background, but the top of the wall is not perfectly straight. It's obviously not straight. It's on an angle. It's raked, but it's not perfect height. It's not perfectly where it goes. It's not pointed up or finished perfectly. Now, I did notice a couple of comments in the building of this wall, and there is a way that you can get the exact height inside the forms and do a string line and then ram up to that level. We've found that the extra time and effort to do that is just not worth it. And if you do it like that, that's fine. But what we've found is that at the end of the day, you're tired, it's dark, your laser level has to be set up perfectly. You have to get your heights. I mean, some people do it by the forms, and if you can, that's fine. But again, trying to get those heights exact is very difficult. If you mark the forms at the beginning of the day or when you've set the forms up, you won't be able to see them by the time you finish. They're shoveling the mud in, and the marks won't be there anymore. The other thing is often your forms are not there because you're only going up 600 at a time, so you have to make sure you get your right forms. But then the extra time to actually ram it on an angle and then finish it up and try and get it perfect, especially when you're tired at the end of the day, it's very, very difficult to do that and get a good job. We also found that sometimes you'd get the whole lot right and there'd be just a section where someone hadn't quite got it right, or the ram had gone too deep or whatever, and then you ended up having to repair the wall. So what we do now, we just ram it about 5 to 10 centimetres higher approximately. So we still measure, we know exactly how high the left section and the right section are going to be, and we just go about 10 centimetres higher and ram it quite rough, and you'll see there it goes up and down. It's not straight at all, but it's very, very quick. So then later on we'll come back with a string line and string it up and then just cut it with a quick cut at the top, and it's perfect. Now there'll be a video that shows you how to do this and goes into a bit more detail, but we've just found that that's quick and easy. You don't have to seal the top of the wall straight away. It just makes perfect sense to us. And if you want to do it the other way, that's fine. Now again, they're undoing the outer 2 pins and the last peg and lifting it down. Now we're about to get to the doorway underneath these forms here. So you'll see that they're having to have to undo tech screws all the way up those metal forms. If you're not using metal forms, it's different. And there you go, you can see the doorway there. Now we're going to start to show you, we're going to describe now the runs in the wall, and you can see they are horizontal. So someone's climbing in the forms. Any opportunity for a bit of fun. It's amazing what you see when you review the video later on. So the horizontal runs we'll talk about next. We took a piece of land. It might sound strange, but God told us to buy it despite not having the money. He told us to build despite not knowing how. We had to learn each step of the way, research, trial and error, training, whatever it took. We've documented each step of the way, and we're able to teach many, many things that are going to help you live with and for God, help you build your family, help you build your home, and help you build your business. Be sure to subscribe. We're also putting together a Rammed Earth course. Some of it will be free, some will be a trade-off as we tell you about Jesus, and some might be a paid subscription to help us cover costs. Either way, all of it will be very, very useful. So hit the subscribe button or click the link to see all the details about our Rammed Earth course. So from this angle, it's probably a little bit clearer to see that we are doing horizontal runs. They don't follow the rake of the roof. The other thing to note, the bit that's exposed at the moment looks brown over a lot of it. Well, that's actually rust from forms that haven't been cleaned. You'll see that as they start to take the forms down this left side where the forms are clean, the difference in colour. See that? Look at that. Look how clear it is. Again, the runs are horizontal. They don't follow the rake of the roof. When God created this planet, he didn't do it in angles, and it looks natural to go horizontal. So that's the way we try and do it like that. The other thing to note is that infill above the doorway, that's what it's called, the infill. That's not just mud, that's not just your normal mix. there is steel inside there. You either need to use a lintel or you need to use steel inside your wall. Now that's very specific type of steel and specific placement of the steel. If you're a paid subscriber, you have exact details of that, what thickness of steel, where it goes and all that sort of thing, and it changes depending on how big your doorway is and how much infill you have over the top of it. You can see they're just wire brushing straight away. We wire brush for a number of reasons. Again, there'll be a separate video on finishing your wall, but wire brushing is pretty much something we do even if we're not going to be seeing the wall. We still wire brush it. There's a few reasons for that. Check out that video for all the details. I mean, it can help waterproof the wall. It keeps the dust off, and it helps you cure your wall. Now those acro props, keep playing ball, boys, see if you can ignore them. Cute little fellas. The acro props don't come out straight away. You need your wall to cure so it's strong. We leave them in for, we try for 2 weeks. We have taken them out after a day or two sometimes, but it's not recommended, and maybe that was mainly test walls that we were doing that. And if you're not going to seal your wall, I would leave the upright forms in around your doorway there, because that will just hold the moisture in a little bit longer as well. If you're not going to seal it, you need to put black plastic over it for a couple of days. Before you seal it, clear off your concrete. The dust and dirt that mixes with the sealer on your concrete is a nightmare to get off, unless you're using a poor quality sealer, which I don't recommend. We'll also have a video on how to remove stuff off your concrete, and that's with what products to use. The wire brushing that they're doing there, see, he's on a barrel. Don't stand on barrels, guys, a bit dangerous. He also doesn't have shoes on. But so the GPOs is the other thing they're doing. They're drilling out some of those GPOs, or the wall boxes that are getting ready for the GPOs. We do have quite a comprehensive video on putting electrics in the wall, and that'll save you heaps of time, makes it very, very easy. You can get it accurate. You'll see those GPOs above the door level, above the top of the door level. There's 3 that are at the right height, and the one on the left is too high. Now that's just someone put it in the wrong place. I did tell them, don't worry too much about it. There's going to be a mezzanine above this doorway, so it really doesn't matter. It's not going to be seen. Otherwise, you would have spent an extra 10 minutes to dig it down to the right level. But the rest of the day now is really just getting, as you can see, he's drilling out the GPO there, GPO box, shuffling the barrel across. The rest of the day really is just tidying up, putting the tools away, ready for the next day, clearing off the concrete, getting the dirt off the scaffolds and things like that, so that you're not blowing dust everywhere. And then we haven't got the video of that for this wall, but then sealing the wall, again, there'll be a video on different sealers, what they do, pluses or benefits of each one. Anyway, guys, hopefully that's helpful, and we'll see you for the next video.